All right, good evening, everybody. We're going to go ahead and get started in just a moment. So if you could please take your seat, grab your drink, grab your last appetizer here, and we're going to be getting started in just a moment. Thank you, everybody, for taking your seats. I really appreciate it. My name is Mike Brickner. I am Executive Director of the ACLU of Delaware. I'm going to ask that folks, please hold your conversations down so we can hear the program. But please grab that last drink, grab another appetizer, and we're getting started here just momentarily. Again, my name is Mike Brickner. I want to welcome all of you to the Carriage House. I want to welcome you all to the Carriage House. We also have, via Zoom, all of our friends down in Sussex County at Ocean View, down at Bear Trap. Yep, give them a round of applause. We love our Sussex County people. We decided to do this a number of years ago. We've always had the Kandler Awards here in Wilmington, and we said, well, we need to be a statewide state, and we have to ensure that we are an organization that touches every part. So we have had this Sussex County event for a few years now, and it's grown every single year. And I'm told that the group down at Bear Trap are very lively, very excited to be honoring La Esperanza down there. We have two great award winners here, Peter Gordon and Aviles. And we have a great program for you all here tonight. So thank you all so much for being here. Before I get too far into the program or the reason why we're here or all of that kind of stuff, I do want to recognize a few people who really helped to make this evening happen. So first of all, here in Wilmington, we have our development director, Melissa Bryson, over here. Give Melissa a round of applause. She's only been working on this event for, I think it's 11 months and 29 days. We have one day off until we plan the next Kandler. And then down in our Sussex County location, we have our development strategist, Rachel Mead, who is running all the things down there. Yes, give Rachel a round of applause. They have really been working for months and months and months to make this happen. So thank you both for all of your work. But as I said, we have a very exciting evening for you all. But first, I just want to kind of ground us in why we're here. We had some slides up about the history of the Kandler Awards. Many of you know that Gerry Kandler was president of the ACLU of Delaware board when we first formed. He was passionate about education equity, worked a lot on the rights of kids with disabilities in the education system. And all of these years later, of course, we still have issues with our education system, but we as the ACLU are committed to addressing them and so many other issues. We're T-minus 21 days until a big election here in the state and in this country. I am not going to be one to prognosticate about what the election's going to do, but as I was thinking here, I said, where else would I rather be 21 days before the election than with a group of civil libertarians who care about this country, who care about civil rights, and are going to fight for all the rights that we care so much about. And so, whatever the presidential election, whatever happens, the ACLU has been around for over 100 years. We're going to be here in a President Harris administration or a President Trump administration, and we're going to be here fighting for voting rights, for reproductive freedom, for education equity, for criminal legal reform, for immigrants' rights, for housing justice, and all of the issues that I care so much about, and I know all of you care so much about too. I'm also really excited because beyond the awardees that we have here, we also have an amazing group of activists and community leaders in the room. So, after we get done with the program here, and I hope you did this ahead of time, please, move around the room. We have some really wonderful people who have worked on some of the most critical issues here in the state of Delaware. So again, I will be your master of ceremonies tonight. we have several things going on. So if you see me looking a little distracted tonight, it's the same as last year in that I get silent auction alerts on my watch whenever somebody outbids me. So if I get a little buzz, I'm watching you, Tom O'Brien, in the front here. I know it's probably one of you who outbid me, but I want to encourage you to outbid me because we have some really fantastic items. Just a couple that I want to mention to you all. We have this beautiful painting by Amir Campbell. Amir, can you raise your hand? There he is. He's the actual artist. It's called Daydreaming, which is this beautiful painting. And it's actually, I'm told it was inspired by kids with autism, actually. So if that's an issue that you're passionate about, it's a beautiful painting. I highly encourage you to check that out. But the other one that I wanted to mention is, so you have two options if you happen to like your wine. So option one is if you have a moderate amount of friends, there is a tasting session at Brandywine Prime for you and 5 friends. But if you're really popular and you have a lot of friends who like wine, there is also a wine school at Total Wine for 20 people. So if you are very popular or you want to become more popular and just invite a bunch of people you don't know all that well to a Total Wine tasting, those are 2 great options to take advantage of. So as the master of ceremonies, I get to go over a lot of these important logistics. So the next thing I want to mention is appreciating our sponsors here for tonight. So we have several people who have sponsored the program to really make this evening possible. And I want to just talk about some of the folks who are higher level sponsors who really, went the extra mile to make sure that we can have this wonderful Kandler Awards. The first person I want to mention is, her last name is Kandler. It's Joan Kandler. She is one of our protectors of freedom. And I just really want to give a shout out to Joan. She is Gerry Kandler's widow. And we actually called her this year to check in on her and to see, oh, Joan, are you thinking you might still want to sponsor? And she said, you know what? I love the ACLU. I see you guys everywhere. I'm going to up my sponsorship this year because we need the ACLU. So thank you so much, Joan. It's an honor to honor Gerry every year, and we're so glad that we have such a great connection with you. Next, at our Protectors of Freedom is Ross, Arenstam, and Moritz, LLP. Our partners in justice are Amy Simmerman, David and Sally McBride, Fager Drinker, Insight, Morris, Nichols, Arsht, and Tunnel, and Planned Parenthood of Delaware. And I know I saw some of those Planned Parenthood people here earlier. We love them too. I also want to recognize some of our elected officials here in the audience today. So Lieutenant Governor Bethany Hall Long was here earlier. She had to step out and go to another event, but she was so excited to be here and was super excited, and I was super excited to see her as well. We also have County Executive Matt Meyer, who I think just walked out of the room, but he's coming back. Thank you for his applause there. I appreciate that. And I also saw a state senator, I almost called her lieutenant governor, State Senator Kyle Evans Gay here. There's Kyle. Hi, Kyle. And I think I still get to do it even though he's retiring. We have State Representative Paul Bombach. You're still in until they get sworn in, right? Okay, good. I also just want to take a second to recognize Senate President Dave Sokola. If you were checking out that really great auction item that has all the honey in it, Dave donated that to us. So such a great supporter and really love Senate President Sokola. Give him a round of applause. We like that. So in addition, I also wanted to just say a couple of words about some of our Kandler awardees. So I saw a few folks in the room who are past Kandler Award awardees. So first of all, I saw Helen Foss. Where's Helen at? Raise your hand, Helen. Is she at the back over there? Okay, well, Helen was here, and she is our very first Kandler. There she is, our very first Kandler Award winner. Thank you, Helen. And I also saw, so she's our first, and then I saw our last most recent one. John Whitelaw is back there, and he won last year. He'll kill me later for recognizing him. So. But in addition, I also want to take a moment just to remember a Kandler awardee that we actually lost this past year. So in January of this year, we lost one of our past Kandler awardees, David Brown. Many of you might know David. He was a partner at the Delaware law firm Potter Anderson. He was deeply involved in a lot of the pro bono work that happened at Potter Anderson. And he was extremely dedicated to expanding free legal services for people in need across Delaware. I know he did a lot of work with the Combined Campaign for Justice. And if you knew David personally, you know that he was passionate and professional, always encouraging, and he truly believed in equity and justice for all, from reproductive rights to First Amendment rights. David was always there. I met David a few times, and I remember when Melissa first came onto the staff, I was like, well, Melissa needs to go out and meet some of our donors. And, for the first, development director meeting, you don't want to have the most difficult donor that they get to have lunch with. So I was like, you know what? Go meet David Brown, because he's about the nicest person in the world. And Melissa went and had a great lunch with him. And he was just such a great, great human being. So we miss David a lot. This is actually a picture of him accepting his Kandler Award back in 2007. And again, we are just so grateful for all of the contributions that David made here to the state of Delaware and to the ACLU. So with that, we have a pretty packed agenda for this evening. We are not typically, that we give away 2 Kandler Awards, but this evening we actually have a bonus third award that we are going to be giving tonight. So I'm going to get started with this first award. This is the Darrow Award, which is an award that we don't always give out every single year. It is one that when we have a person who is an attorney who has made a significant impact on our litigation work, we say, okay, we're going to give this person this special award. Obviously, it's named for Clarence Darrow, who many of you know was a ACLU cooperating attorney, one of our, sort of founding people very early on in the ACLU history. And Clarence Darrow was committed to so many issues that ACLU cares about, like religious liberty, criminal legal reform, ending the death penalty. So to get an award named after Clarence Darrow is, I think, a pretty wonderful thing. And I can think of no better person to get the Clarence Darrow Award this year than Peta Gordon. So Peta is an attorney with the firm Arnold & Porter. And Arnold & Porter was one of the groups that we really, really relied on and depended on as we brought our litigation for against the public school funding formula and the money going to the public schools here in the state of Delaware. It is not an understatement to say that without PETA and Arnold & Porter, I don't know how easily that lawsuit would have happened. In this room tonight, we have some of the attorneys who worked on this litigation. So we actually have Rich Morse up here, who is now with Classy, but used to be legal director at the ACLU of Delaware. We love Rich, and he was really like the brainchild of this whole litigation. But we also have Karen Lance. I saw Karen in the back. Another former legal director with the ACLU of Delaware. And then somewhere around here, I think also in the back, we have our current legal director, Dwayne Bensing, who also helped with... Oh, man, Dwayne is popular. Oh. So we had this wonderful team here in the state of Delaware. We also had our other past legal director, Ryan, who also contributed a lot to this work as well. But, when we filed the litigation and when we were considering filing the litigation, we knew that this was a monster lawsuit, right? That we were suing the state as well as the counties, and that the state has a lot more resources than the ACLU or Community Legal Aid Society do. And so we knew that we were going to have a lot of attorneys who were going to be, filing all sorts of motions and doing depositions and all of this stuff that was going to really, suck the capacity for ACLU and for Classy. And so having Arnold and Porter, and particularly PETA, come forward and say, we're going to be your cooperating attorney. We're going to give some of the resources of our organization, of our law firm to this work because we believe it's so possible, it's so important. We would not have been able to do this lawsuit without it. And so, I'm so proud to recognize PETA because we've had some tremendous change here in the state of Delaware. The lawsuit that we filed went on a county track and a state track. With the state track, we were able to settle that. We have millions of more dollars of opportunity funds going to Delaware public school students today. And yes, we still have further to go, but let's, take the victory lap while we can get it, right? That this is going to change lives and that we're committed to continuing that mission to get more funding into our public schools. But the other important thing is the other track was this county track, which was really all about property reassessments and making sure that we do property reassessments. I know our folks down in Bear Trap in Sussex County are watching along. And somebody on the team is going to correct me, but I think the last time Sussex County had done property reassessments was something like 1977. Am I right? 1974. Thank you, Representative Bombach. So 1974 was the last time they had done property reassessments. Because of our lawsuit, now the counties are in the midst of doing their property reassessments, but we also had legislation passed out of the General Assembly that's going to require those property reassessments to happen more frequently so we never get into this place again where it's been 40 years and we haven't had a property reassessment. Yeah, give a round of applause to that. So I just have to underscore, none of this would have been possible without the whole team, right? We had Rich, we had Karen, we had Ryan, we had Dwayne, we had other folks. But PETA and Arnold and Porter were such an integral part of this work. And it just gives me so much pleasure to recognize somebody who has worked so hard, who has helped us to better this state. And I can think of no one better to give the Clarence Darrow Award to here in 2024. So I'm going to invite PETA to come up and get her award.
In France, or the one and it's so much to find me in as soon as it's like she also say it on the work.
Hi everyone. So I didn't prepare a speech, but I would be remiss if I didn't express my thanks to the ACLU and all the wonderful people that I worked with and got to know there. Dwayne, Karen, Ryan. I'm also deeply grateful to Arnold and Porter for making our participation possible. I have to thank my family who are here and came to support me. We also had wonderful clients, but I have to say, while I'll accept this award, the brainchild of this litigation sits right there. Rich Morris, thank you so much. It has been an honor and a pleasure to work with you. Really one of the finest attorneys I've ever worked with, and more aggressive than I will ever be. Just a phenomenal litigator. If you're ever stuck anywhere, call this guy. He'll figure out a way to get you out. Thank you.
Thank you so much, PETA. Again, we are so honored to have been able to present this to you. And again, thank you so much for your work. So moving on, we have our second awardee of the evening, and this is one I'm also very personally excited for. We are going to be recognizing Dr. Aviles tonight. And yes, I hear you back there. I know Dr. Aviles is back there, and we love her up here though too. And Dr. Aviles, I just have to say on a personal note, I remember when I first came to Delaware and we started on the right to representation campaign because, you know, I came right when COVID hit and everyone was trying to figure out how are we going to like prevent this tsunami of evictions that might be coming our way. And I know one of the first people that I saw on a Zoom was Dr. Aviles. And I saw how much, you know, everybody else on the Zoom room respected her. And then I got to see her in action. And, you know, she is what the younger kids, or at least people younger than me, call a real one. She shows up to everything, and she also speaks her mind, and she speaks truth to power. And that is oftentimes what we need, especially when we are advocating for something like housing. When I think about the Right to Representation and Evictions campaign, that was a time when we were, you know, battling against these, you know, really well-heeled landlords who didn't want to get this passed. And Anne was out there every single day working with low-income people who were housing insecure, to work with them to get them to know about the legislation, to get them to be advocates, to tell their story, and to get them access to resources. And so, again, Anne has really, to me, personified this, you know, great thing when we have people who are very learned. You know, she's a doctor, she's a professor at the University of Delaware, but she takes her study and turns it into real change here in real life. So just a little bit about Dr. Aviles. She's an associate professor in the Department of Human Development and Family Sciences at the University of Delaware, but she is also co-chair of the Homes Campaign Delaware. I know there's some people from the Homes Campaign. So she has worked with community-based organizations to advocate for educational access, equitable funding, and anti-racist systems and practices with and for students and families of color experiencing homelessness and poverty, incarceration, and mental health issues. Safe and affordable housing in Delaware is an equity issue and one that the ACLU of Delaware and Anne equally value fighting for. So, Anne, you know, thank you so much for your dedication to justice and to the rights of all people. With that, I believe we have a video that we are going to show, so we are going to get that going here.
Dr. Anne M. Aviles is an associate professor in the Department of Human Development and Family Sciences at the University of Delaware and co-chair of the Homes Campaign Delaware.
I know I liked working with young people. I know I liked working in the community, and so I was just looking for something that would allow me to do that.
But when the community met Anne 5 or 6 or so years ago, it was apparent, it was evident. No, and we are connected to a number of faculty members and other professional or institutional partners. No. She has to be part of the family, not only part of the, she has to be part of the leadership, right? Because she's demonstrated that she is, right, a true ally, right? She's really down. She's truly people-centered.
You know, working with her is just like a treasure. Not only does she bring information, but she's willing to get out there and go out in the streets and knock doors and, you know, like go to the places that a lot of people are simply uncomfortable going to because of the populations that we deal with.
Dr. Aviles' research, teaching, and organizing experiences include addressing housing and educational inequality. Dr. Aviles has worked with community-based organizations to advocate for educational access, equitable funding, and anti-racist systems and practices with and for students and families of color experiencing homelessness, poverty, incarceration, and mental health issues.
It has to be in your heart. You have to be okay with going to the birthday party, showing up to the barbecue, right? And these are the kinds of things, I'll be honest with you, that Ann is doing. Like, man, like you really like, you're not just showing up for the photo op, or you're not just showing up for the press conference, right? She's really showing up, and she plays a vital role in just keeping us together, the family, which is why she also rises in leadership.
And Ann has done an amazing job of pulling other people into the work. And to me, that is essentially what is necessary in this type of work.
She is the co-chair of the HOMES, Housing, Opportunity, Mobility, Equity, and Stability campaign, which advocates for affordable housing and to end homelessness in Delaware. She recently helped to found the City of Wilmington Autonomous Tenants Union, which works to advance tenants' rights in Wilmington and beyond through workshops and community organizing.
I think a lot of people focus on charity and like, oh, we need to help people, which is a good first step, but it doesn't do anything to change systems and structures, right? And so that's really how I think about it, is how do we change the structure so that less people are experiencing homelessness, so that less people are getting evicted, so that less people are burdened by their rent.
The community standards is our standard. No doubt the professional or whomever standards, I understand how that go. But at the end of the day, we have another group of folk that have to green light whether we're doing the right thing and doing it in the right way. And most importantly, that group, is the local residents. So she's definitely, passed the mark. She's definitely achieved that level of respect.
And so I think people sometimes underestimate the amount of time and energy someone will put into what is essentially unpaid work for a mission that is an unfunded mission. And Ann is willing to do that. Like, she's willing to put that time in. And so I think a lot of people would underestimate the dedication that she has to the work. If you don't know, like, come check her out. Like, come see her at a Homes campaign meeting. Like, come see her at the union meetings. I mean, it's crazy. It's like she shows up and she puts her time, she puts her energy, and she puts her money, she puts her her soul into it.
And so, again, you can see how amazing Dr. Aviles is from the words of her colleagues and supporters and mentors. So, just to show how amazing Dr. Aviles is, beyond her Kandler Award, we also have some amazing proclamations. And I think just about every elected official in the state of Delaware may have given her one here. We have one from Senator Coons, Senator Carper, County Executive Meyer. We have Lisa Blunt Rochester, and also Governor Carney, all with proclamations singing the praises of Ann Aviles. So again, Dr. Aviles, you are an amazing advocate. You have moved the ball forward so much on housing rights and justice in this state. And we are incredibly honored to give you this Kandler Award this year. So please come up and accept your award.
That was the one.
Yeah, but I'm part of that. I always said it. I still get it for my ability.
And if you just said to stop it, you're close to we're going to be the kind of first thing. Yeah, but you got actually you can sing an for this mom. No, you can say it. We'll fuck it. And he didn't leave. Okay. We just singing you.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. I'm truly honored and humbled. They always say, you should write it down. I didn't, but that's okay. I want to start, of course, by thanking all my friends and family. It really does take a village. And I know that sounds like so cliche, but it's so true that you cannot do this work alone. So I really want to shout out Dan Adkins and all of Classy for all of their work. Yasser Payne for both of them nominating me, and for the committee. I don't know who makes the decisions, but for saying yes to having me be here. I also cannot do this work. I know you all saw Cheyenne Miller on the video, but she is my ride or die. Yet. So this is really about this collaborative work, because it cannot be done alone. And many institutions, organizations, people are showing up with us. So I want to make sure to recognize that. And I would be remiss not to use my platform today to talk about housing issues. So I am going to take some time to do that. So rent stabilization is up next, people. Okay, we know that the rent is too damn high. That's what they're telling us. Okay, so if we are going to stop people from experiencing homelessness, or we're going to keep people housed, then that means we have to have rents that people can actually afford. What we do know, I won't say names. I'll say that there are people putting money in, about $50,000, to send lobbyists down to Dover to stop rent stabilization. They are coming. And so we need to be prepared, and we need to be organizing around stabilizing rent, because if you all think it's bad now, it's only going to get worse. Wages are just not keeping up with the amount of rent. Yeah. How many of us know the rent is too damn high? And thank you. Yes. Okay. So we need your support. As thank you, Mike said, yes, I'm about the work. And so I very much appreciate this honor. But I know that there is so much more work to be done. Right to representation is the first step. And we need better renter protections for all. So thank you all so much. And let's keep fighting for housing justice.
You're gonna take all your leak at it.
There is a box under here that I'll get her to teaching and privileges.
I told y'all. So, you're good. You're good. We good, John? Okay. Sorry, I don't want to give you guys feedback, but I told y'all she was a real one. She was not going to give up this opportunity and not say anything about housing justice. So thank you so much. And, we are so excited to continue working with Ann and Cheyenne and the Homes Campaign and Classy and all of the folks who care so much and work so deeply on housing justice issues. So next, we're going to move to our third and final awardee of the night. Before we do, though, I do just want to give you guys another shout out about our silent auction. Remember, it stays open until 8:30. I have gotten some buzzes on here, so I know you all are bidding, but I haven't gotten enough. So y'all need to keep bidding here. We have some fantastic things. There's a beach house in New Jersey, which I don't want any of you guys to bid on because I'm currently the winner of that, but I'm still giving a shout out to it. And also a wonderful house in Ecuador. Myself and Melissa have won that in the past. It's fantastic, right? Beautiful in the mountains, very calm and peaceful. And you get a wonderful person to give you all sorts of tips and tricks on how to get around the beautiful country of Ecuador. Next, again, as I said, we're going to be recognizing our organization down in Sussex County, down in Ocean View and Bear Trap. So this year we are recognizing La Esperanza. Give them a round of applause. Let's. So I know I'm speaking to a Newcastle County-based audience, but I think even many of us upstate have heard and seen the wonderful work that La Esperanza does. La Esperanza is the second largest multi-service agency for Hispanic immigrants in the state of Delaware. They provide bicultural and bilingual services dedicated to Hispanic communities in Sussex County and the surrounding areas. When I first came to Delaware, again, I started to look at, okay, who do I need to get to know down in Sussex County? Who's doing the work down there? And person after person said, you need to go and meet with La Esperanza. And so I did, and I met with Jennifer. She's a wonderful leader. She has an amazing staff at La Esperanza. They work every single day to help their clients access employment, housing, education, permanent residency, U.S. citizenship, naturalization, and self-sufficiency. They are doing critical work. Sussex County is the fastest growing county on the Eastern Seaboard right now, and much of that is because of immigrants that are moving to our great state that are helping and working and living and doing amazing things down in Sussex County, and they need support too. And La Esperanza is really the cornerstone of that community, providing them that support. I also just want to say, recently I started in a leadership program, and one of the people who was actually seated right next to me in the leadership program is the other co-director, Brian Garcia, who is also an amazing person. And it was my first time meeting him in person at this leadership program. And Brian is a wonderful and really innovative, creative leader. And so they have a great team at La Esperanza. So I want to go ahead and turn it over to the video about La Esperanza so you can hear a little bit more about them in their supporters' words.
Founded in 1996 to address the needs of the increasing number of Guatemalan immigrants and Mexican migrant workers arriving in southern Delaware, La Esperanza is now the second largest multi-service agency for Hispanic immigrants in Delaware and a bicultural and bilingual agency specifically dedicated to serving Hispanic communities in Sussex County and the surrounding areas.
La Esperanza was founded in the mid-90s by 3 Carmelite nuns. They came here to Georgetown to do service because this was an area that a lot of new immigrants were coming to in Sussex County, because it was similar to where they came from in Mexico and Guatemala.
At the time, there were rarely any services that helped people, with language barriers and documentation barriers. And just adjusting to a new country and a new culture. So the nuns started La Esperanza out of the work that they were already doing in that community and really helping them thrive in their new setting.
They help clients as they gain access to employment, housing, education, permanent residency, U.S. citizenship, naturalization, and self-sufficiency.
We generally serve anywhere from like 3,000 to 4,000 people a year. It just depends. And we do that in a number of different ways, but we know that the community is growing exponentially.
There's obviously issues of language, culture shock, finding places to live, finding places to work, learning new skills. All those things take time, take resources. And it can be really hard for someone to really establish themselves if they don't have the proper supports.
La Colectiva has provided parent education and engagement summits for parents, all of which is provided in Spanish. And my Latino friends call me and say, I'm learning a La Esperanza, Charito. They are teaching me this, they are teaching me that.
Located in Georgetown, Delaware, La Esperanza is a place of hope, or Esperanza, for Hispanic immigrants and their families. Under the umbrella of La Esperanza is La Colectiva, which is a network of over 60 organizations who work together to create a network of providers who assist and serve immigrants.
La Esperanza deserves this award. La Esperanza provides support and direction of La Colectiva of Delaware. La Colectiva developed in 2018 as a result of the need for Latino serving organizations to develop improved relationships and trust in order to understand the community's most critical needs.
For me, I think one of the biggest things is community, right? And it's great that a lot of the immigrants we serve, the people that we serve, have found community here in Delaware, and it's usually with maybe people from their home country or even neighbors that they had and family that they had back at home. One of the things that I hear so much is you know, this community of immigrant, they just want to be treated as any other person, right, with dignity and respect.
We created a program called Opciones, which is really about creating a pipeline between preparation, education, and then careers. Because we have a lot of different kinds of learners and they have different kinds of barriers.
Often, counseling and education programs are provided in conjunction with Delaware Technical and Community College. These engage students and interest family members, because this is what Esperanza is all about, to bring the family together.
Glad that worked, and really so happy and proud of our friends at La Esperanza. Again, they are doing really amazing, impactful work every single day in Sussex County. And, you know, for me, I hope that you all are left with the work that all of these awards represent. You know, we have folks who are at the forefront of education equity, people who are at the forefront of housing justice, people who are at the forefront of immigrants' rights. And, you know, those are all the issues that we care so much about here at the ACLU. So it has really been our honor to honor each of you and the amazing contributions that you've made to the state of Delaware. Now, before we all leave, just a couple more things. We are here officially until 9 o'clock tonight. It is almost 8 o'clock. But as I said earlier, the silent auction ends at 8:30, correct? So you got about 32 more minutes to make your bids. There are some more amazing things. Again, I previewed some of the trips before. We also have trips to Virginia, to wine country, New Orleans, Connecticut, lots of places for you to go see. Maybe you'd want to pick your own destination. I am also in a bidding war with whoever is bidding on those Aviles airline tickets. Oh, oops. They also come with a $300 Hotel.com gift certificate. So a really great deal if you're interested in that. And finally, every year we have Catherine Jacobson. Is Catherine still here? Where are you, Catherine? Oh, she just stepped out, of course. But she donates every year our bourbon basket. And if you like bourbon, and I know at least one person in this room does, Tom O'Brien, that is a great prize as well. So bid early, bid often, bid until 8:30. But otherwise, thank you all so much. Please go help yourself to some more drinks, some more appetizers, and let's give one more round of applause to all of our amazing honorees this evening.